Hello and welcome to another episode of The Real Franchise, a podcast that goes where others just simply will not. An unfiltered view of franchising, business, mindset, and everything that we stand for when it comes to supporting a community of small business owners. Join me, Rhiannon, the CEO for James Home Services Australia, and Justin, one of our owners, as we unpack it all with no topic off limits. Justin, today's a fun one. We've had some pretty serious and deep topics over the last few weeks, but today's a fun one. If we could only give 3 pieces of advice to someone starting a business in our network for success fast, we are going to talk about what those would be. And I think arguably the first piece is, and we're breaking all the content creation rules because everybody knows you put the best to the last so that everybody watches the video for the longest, but we're not about that kind of trickery over here. I think the most important piece of advice that we could give a new business owner is that mindset trumps all. Justin, do you want to expand on that concept for us a little?
It's all about mindset. I just see our business partner, the other owner of James, Darren, just shared on his Facebook today a great post by a guy talking about the All Blacks rugby union team and how talent, or the whole article was about mindset trumps talent every time.
Yeah.
You know, and it's about, in their case, it's about supporting teammates, about, you know, the greater good and being a servant to the rest of the team and everybody having that mindset. When it comes to what we're talking about, though, it's all about your mindset and how you look at things. You know, I'm working with a great young business owner starting with us at the moment in Canberra, and, you know, there's been a few challenges along the way, and what I love about this guy is his response. He's just instantly in solution mode. You know, there's always a solution, and I guess that's sort of what we're talking about here, isn't it? We're getting into, we'll look at some examples, I suppose, of what is a good mindset. And I think, being someone who can always, there's a solution to every problem.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to, I think that is the best way to summarize what is mindset in a practical sense, particularly mindset when it comes to being a business owner and the mindset that it takes to be successful. In our network, we refer to it as the business owner mindset, and we juxtapose that against the employee mindset. Now, the employee mindset is, oh, my boss will take care of that. Boss, what do you want me to do today? There's limited initiative. You know, you're not necessarily required to be in problem-solving mode all the time. You don't have to take responsibility for the outcomes of the business because it's not your business. You show up at 9 a.m. in the morning, you do your task list for the day based on your position description, and you go home at 5 p.m. And basically you walk out and you leave the problems until 9 a.m. the next day. And that employee mindset is completely adequate when you're an employee and when you're earning just simply a salary that is reflective of the tasks that you're needing to do and the responsibility you hold in that business. But when you become a business owner, your operating system gets an upgrade. If you think about your phone, everybody's got a smartphone of some description, right? And all of them do an upgrade to operating system from time to time. You know, you get that little notification and you tick yes, and it, you know, the next time you plug it into power overnight, it upgrades for you, right? And so you wake up the next morning to exactly the same phone, but all of a sudden your camera has some different settings and some really cool features, and all of your widgets have been rearranged and you've got no idea where to go to get to anything anymore. And, you know, the back of house stuff, there's more security, more protection, you know, there's maybe better connectivity. There's just stuff has been improved. And mindset, going from employee mindset to business owner mindset, is exactly that. You're the same person, but your operating system needs an upgrade. And that upgrade is to someone that thinks as a solutionist, as a problem solver, as a, if it's to be, it's up to me, to pinch one of your favorite sayings that I really love. It is just, it's all about responsibility and accountability and being focused on being proactive and finding a solution and going, this is my business. So what am I going to do to make it work? And so we teach all the skills necessary. We also teach mindset. But if someone isn't prepared to upgrade their mindset, that's when we see challenges kick in our network.
Yeah. And that's a mindset in itself, isn't it? Like when you mentioned this topic yesterday, I to be honest, I sat down and wrote a few notes for this morning, and one of the mindset shifts I think that has to be in place is I wrote teachability, which is exactly what you're just talking about. If you're the mindset of any successful individual, I think, is one that's prepared to be teachable. I don't know everything. I'm prepared to learn and then apply what I learn. And that's a key mindset, I think, if you're going to be successful as a business owner.
Yeah. We talk about the other two pieces of advice that we have today. It's all really going to interlap really beautifully. But I think this is the most important one, because I can't really, if I look at all the examples in our network of business owners that have just knocked it out of the park so quickly, they've done all these three things that we're going to talk about today. But frankly, what sits on top of all of it is their mindset, right?
Absolutely.
And actually mindset controls them and influences them to do the other two things that we're going to talk about. So without mindset, you're not going to engage with your coach. You're not going to follow system. There's a little spoiler for what's coming. But if you don't have the right mindset, if you're not teachable, if you're not open, if you're not focused on taking responsibility for the outcomes in your business, you're not going to do the other things that are necessary. So mindset trumps all. It's a hill I will die on.
And to give a real practical example for people listening, at the moment, we sort of we talk to nearly 100 people a week. And as you know, Rhiannon, over the last few years, we've created a matrix of what we look for, characteristics in people, skills, etc. Right? I forget how many was it, about 30 different things that we look for.
Yeah.
And when you think of all of those things, there's only one or two items that are actual skills, able to use a computer and do emails and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
The rest of them really all fall under here, in my view. They're all about mindset.
It really is.
Are they able to, it's all those sort of things we're really looking for to try and pick someone who's going to really do well in a business like this.
Yeah. We can teach skill. That is exactly what this network is all about. And we do our best to teach mindset, but if you haven't got a little bit of the right mindset already sitting there, it makes our job a little harder. If you're open to learning about mindset, it changes the game. I recently did 8 steps training with a woman, and I noticed some mindset upgrades that we would need to help her to make right from day one of training. And they were so obvious to me that I actually pulled up training and I said, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about the importance of mindset. And her face lit up and she said to me, oh, this stuff really, it excites me. I love psychology, never studied it at school, but I've just got a real interest in how our brains work and, how important what we think is. And I thought, oh, good. All right. Okay, cool. I've made the right choice in sort of pausing training to actually jump ahead a little bit. And we spent probably half an hour talking about 2 of the key mindset topics that we use as fundamentals in our network for building the business owner mindset. And good luck, good management, call it what you will. This business owner has started incredibly strongly. And what I thought she would do, she's not done. I thought she would not follow the system because she felt uncomfortable doing certain things. I thought she would, shy away from tasks that didn't feel familiar to her. And she hasn't.
Right.
She has adopted the mindset of tackling everything head on, no matter how uncomfortable it feels, because she understands that's what she needs to do to be a successful business owner. And so that is an example, because had we not had a focus on mindset in our network, there's absolutely no way she would be seeing the results she is right now. And so that is probably one of the most powerful examples I can give of just how important this is.
Yeah. Can I just touch on one last one before we jump to the second thing? Like, to me, in my years of business, the one thing I have seen around me in our network and for myself personally, if you're going to be successful in business, you have to have a mindset of being resilient, of being able to tough it out, because it doesn't matter what you do in business. It's going to be tough at times, and there's going to be many times where it would be so easy to just give up, to just turn around and walk away.
Yeah.
And, I think there's so many stories and analogies that people can use about that, around that, where you push through and success lies just on the other side of that. We talk about comfort zones and things like that, but resilience is just such an important mindset. Just coming into, if you're going to get into a James business or any business, understand that it's not all going to be roses.
Yeah.
And being prepared to stick at it, follow the next two things that we're going to talk about, and you'll see success.
Yeah. Yeah, resilience is incredibly important, and resilience, it's a word that is thrown around a lot. And if you've heard it but you're not really quite sure what it means, here's a summary. You have to be able to stick out the tough days.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's what resilience is, right? It's not this highfalutin concept that's spoken about in corporate, just thrown around because it sounds good. I mean, it is, frankly, it's thrown around because it sounds good. What it means in practice, and what it means for every single individual in practice, is you have to be able to stick out the tough days, because anybody who knows anything about business will tell you that it is just the winner is the person who can stay in the game the longest.
Yeah.
And that means you have to have the ability to stick out the tough days, decide what you're going to do about it, pick yourself back up, get out of bed each morning, make a plan for what you're going to do, and then execute consistently. And there's the sexiness in business is about, the Instagram reels of success that you're watching.
Yeah.
What you don't see is the resilience that person has demonstrated, probably for the best part of a decade, to get where they are. And it doesn't take a decade to grow every business. Certainly our businesses don't take a decade to grow, but you are going to have to be consistent, resilient. You're going to have to build that business owner mindset, and you're going to have to be able to do that for months initially, so that you have given yourself enough time to build a stable business, because it doesn't happen overnight.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's definitely a big number one, isn't it?
It's a huge
Mindset.
number one. Yeah. And it flows into the next one so perfectly, because your mindset controls whether you do the next one or not, right? The next piece of advice that we would give anybody starting one of our businesses, and this is for the fastest success possible, stick to the system.
Yep.
Stick to the system. Justin, simple to say, why do you think so many business owners are challenged in the execution of this? Because we see often people just, they drop an element of the system, or they stray a little bit, or they get distracted by something else, and that leads to, results that reflect that you've been distracted. Why is this one so important, and why do you think that sometimes people just stray a little?
I think it's a couple of things. I think a system can appear to be boring.
Yeah.
Like our Olympic swimmers, they have a training system, and it involves every morning doing the same thing. And in a sense, success is turning up every day, doing the same little things over and over and over.
Yeah.
That's a system, right? And it can be boring. And And the second part to that is that we sit there as individuals and think, oh, but I've got a better idea. I don't like doing that. I think this will work better. And we may have, but in most cases we don't have any proven experience or results to that knowledge. And the human mind's amazing. We talk about mindset. The human mind will ignore proven systems and charge off. I'm speaking for myself here as well. Charge off doing something because, I want to do this and I think this will work better. What I think will trump a proven system. Like when you rationally think about that, that doesn't make sense. I heard you this week give a great analogy. I think that really sums this one up. Would you mind sharing what you were sharing with the team the other day about a gym?
Oh, yeah. I love
think this really ties into this.
It's so simple. And I guarantee if you're listening, whether you've got experience with a gym membership or not, you'll get this, right? In our network, we say stick to the system, right? We have a system. It's been developed over 35 years. It's been refined significantly in the last 3 to 5 years. It is dialed in. Like if you follow our system, you get results with scary levels of predictability. Like I can't legally predict your results because the franchising code of conduct says I can't make any representation about your success as a business owner in our network. However, the data doesn't lie. And when business owners come into our network and follow the system, we know what the results are going to be. Justin, you and I know what those results are going to look like.
Yeah.
So let's think about a gym. Imagine you signed up to a gym and your membership came with a personal trainer, access to the gym, and a eating plan. It was a 12-week program. And the expected outcomes were that you would drop at least 10 kilos. Coming into our network and then not following our system is exactly the same as signing up to that gym membership, not using your personal trainer, not going consistently like the training program indicates you should, and not following the eating plan, but still expecting the drop in 10 kilos. It doesn't happen. Everybody knows if you want to get gains at the gym or losses, depending what your goal is, you have to put the work in. You have to follow the system. And that can be an eating plan. It can be a training plan. It can be showing up to, your PT once a week and then following their guidance the other 3 days that you train, right? But there has to be consistency in your actions.
Yes.
And everybody knows that if you don't do that, you aren't going to reach your goals, despite having paid for the membership. Exactly the same in our network, right? You pay for your membership. That's what franchise fees are. You pay for a service. Franchise fees are just fee for service, by the way. We deliver you a program. But if you don't stick to the program, don't expect the gains. They won't come. And you'll be very sour about that. And we will not be surprised. Because we've seen it. We've seen people join the gym, not follow the program, and then be like, what? What do you mean I don't have a wildly profitable business after 12 weeks? Well, you didn't follow the program.
Yeah.
It's that simple, right?
You and I see it all the time. We've seen not so long ago, 2 people go through our 8 steps training, start the same day, same trainer, the same program. At the end of 12 weeks, one person is, in a sense, probably broken records. I haven't gone and checked, but has done exceptionally well.
Oh, yeah.
And the other person has done basically nothing. And the key difference, and the person that hasn't done well is in a fantastic, massive market, and the other person's in not a big market. So you would think would struggle to get significant, or possibly struggle to grow that rapidly. But the point I'm making is the only difference is one's had, 2 differences. One's had the right mindset and followed the system.
Yeah. Do you know, I spoke to the poorer performing business owner last week and I just said, mate, what is going on? You came in looking like a stud and frankly, you fizzled. I don't beat around the bush because sometimes you just need to hear the honest truth, right?
Yeah.
They came in with all these big ideas and all this big talk, and it totally fizzled. They've done nothing. And, as a result, that will lead to failure in the next few months if they don't turn it around. And that was the nature of the conversation, really. It was to say, hey, you've stopped engaging with your business coach. I can predict now where this will go. This is on you to turn this around. We're here and we're ready to assist. We have a system. We just need to get you back to it. That's all it is. And the conversation was really interesting because they obviously admitted that they haven't been following system and that wasn't their intention coming in. And what they said to me was that they had gotten distracted in those first 4 to 8 weeks with something else, like another project, another interest, another way to generate income, another business idea. They'd gotten distracted. And I think this ties into the conversation because often people will stray from our system because either they think their own ideas are better or just because they're not fully focused on it. They're not fully focused on implementing. They just simply allow themselves to make excuses as to why something else is more important to spend their time on.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call on some wisdom from Steve Jobs. He used to ask his executive team on a regular basis, one of his favourite questions was, what did you say no to this week? Sounds odd, right? Steve Jobs obviously heads up Apple, one of the fastest growing, most innovative companies in the world, right? You would think that they were constantly on the lookout for the newest idea and the next shiny thing and let's chase this and let's try this and what about this? And yet their leader's key question to his senior executive team was, what did you say no to this week? And the lesson in that, and even the lesson for me in that, the lesson for all of us in that is that you can't do a number of things exceptionally well because you're too thinly spread across all of them trying to make them work. Pick just the things that are the most important and focus on them. And so I think to a large degree, following our system is just that.
Yeah.
For your first 6 months, say no to everything that is not following our system because it will distract you. And we've just finished explaining what distraction does. It leads to a phone call with the CEO 14 weeks in going, hey, you rocked in looking like a pop star and you've just fizzled. What's the go? So I think that's just it. Follow the system, stay focused, resist the urge to get distracted. It will be your downfall.
That's good. So good.
Yeah.
So first thing was mindset. Second thing, follow the system.
Third thing.
What's the third big piece of advice?
Use your coach. If you're listening to this and you are a seasoned Real Franchise listener, you may have tuned into last week's episode where we deviated from conversation there for about 5 minutes and we just absolutely gave our coaches the biggest plug because frankly, we do not talk about how incredible they are enough. And so we're going to talk about it again because
absolutely.
I don't think, we don't talk about it enough. And therefore, I don't think our potential business owners and new business owners have any idea how lucky they are to be working with the people that they are. Justin, who are our coaches in terms of what are their experience and why are they coaches with us?
Yeah. Well, firstly, all of our coaches have had one of these businesses. And not only have they had one, some of them had multiple, but they have built a very large, successful business, multiple teams of staff, have run that. Of our 4 coaches, 3 have since sold their businesses, and then we've employed them to work with us full time. Pia, one of our coaches, her husband still runs their business. She's still actively involved. So the point I'm making is every one of our coaches has been there, done that. Like literally, they're not just someone who knows a bit about business or has been through uni and has a business degree. They're people that have got in and proven that they know what they're talking about. So as if you were to start with us and hit challenges and things like that, they've walked the journey and can give you really practical support. It's just I don't know of any other network, honestly, that in this country that provides coaching support the way we do.
No, I can't. Not that I spend an enormous amount of time focused on what our other networks are doing, but I spend enough time just simply to understand where we need to sit in the market to be different and to offer what people actually need, rather than just simply what sells and sounds sexy in an ad. And what people really need is actual, just hands-on, real practical support. Like, been there, done that, bought the T-shirt. You're having that challenge? Yep, I had that challenge too. I know exactly where you are right now. I know exactly what you're facing. And here's the system. Let's follow it, because that's what's going to turn this around right now. You know, that kind of experience is unrivaled in our sector. You can't get that in any other network, to my knowledge, at the moment. And
I can give some really good, for anyone listening, just to give you some real practical, I won't give actual numbers, but we bought the business, 6 years ago, almost exactly now. The average hourly rate of the business owners in our network, when we bought it to now, I was looking at the system the other day, it's almost exactly double.
Yeah.
Right? Doing this, essentially the same jobs.
Yeah.
We're in the same industry. Economic times, you could argue, are a lot more challenging. Interest rates are higher. You know, families have less disposable income, blah, blah, blah. Yet our guys are earning double doing the same things. And I put, there's a whole range of reasons why, but a big part of that is the coaching support that we provide our business owners to help them run better businesses.
Yeah.
On a day-to-day. Yes, we can create all the systems, which we have, but it's the coach that's really there helping you implement those systems effectively.
Yep, that's exactly right. It's your coach that does your initial training with you. It's your coach that runs the accelerated startup program with you for that first 12 weeks. It's your coach that then helps you set goals for longer-term performance in your business. And it's your coach who then totally tailors how they're working with you so that they're working with you in a way that actually gets you to those goals. It's your coach. And if you disengage and stop working with your coach, you're not getting value out of your franchise fee, right? I just said before, we're fee for service. We offer a service and we're paid in return, and those are called franchise fees. Everybody balks at franchise fees, and yet you'd walk into a dentist and have them perform a service on your mouth. You go and get your car fixed, and that's a service. You pay for the service, right? Fee for service. Same model, right? Same model. And so the service you get in our network is part of it is the business coaches. It's their support. And to disengage or not be guided by your business coach and not work with your business coach is absolutely absurd. They're your secret weapon. They're your shoulder to cry on. They're your biggest cheerleader. They're the person who's going to give you the honest truth when you need to hear it the most. With courtesy, manners, and respect, but we really prioritize being honest in this network. And sometimes, frankly, what business owners need to hear is the honest truth. This is how it's going, and this is what we need to do to get you back on system so that we can change the outcome.
Comes back to mindset.
Comes back to mindset. See how this is all working together? Your business coaches are also part of a curated team of experts that we put together for you. We've spoken about this concept previously, but I think it works in well here as well, in that, why was Roger Federer the best tennis player of all time? Well, because he's got an enormous amount of talent, right? But also the best tennis player in the world had a coach. The best soccer team in the world has a team of coaches. Your favorite athlete has a coach. right?
Yeah.
You're the business owners that inspire you have mentors. You know, the ones that you watch on social media for their inspirational reels about, you know, making it in a tough economy. They have mentors and coaches that helped them get where they are. And so our network is the same. We have curated for you a team of experts that can support you to be the best business owner you possibly can be. So your coach is one of those people. We've got marketing people. We've got people who are skilled in HR. We've got people who know workplace health and safety inside out, back to front and upside down. You've got people who know accounting and bookkeeping like the back of their hand. That you've got people that just understand general client management, complaint handling, you know, all of that stuff that goes into running a business. You've got systems experts. You've got everything under the sun that you could possibly need to support you to be the best business owner you can possibly be. And we've put all of that all together in our head office team, and that is completely available to you as part of our business network. So you coach and using that broader team of support that's available. That's our third piece of advice. If we could only give you three pieces of advice, that's the third one. Engage with that. That's what you're paying for, right? I know all the other networks say you pay for brand, leads, reputation, etc. You get all of that with us too, right? That's a given for us though. That's not our sales pitch. That's just, obviously you get that stuff. It's a franchise network. That's how it works. In our network, what you're really getting is that support, and that's where the value is with us.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And I would challenge anyone listening to look at any sports team, any sports individual, find one that's succeeding at what they do that doesn't have a coach or a coaching team. You won't. I've never heard of one. And my argument would be it's exactly the same in business.
Yeah.
You know, even an independent person that you might know that's in business that looks to be successful making money, I guarantee you, like you said earlier, Rhiannon, they will have someone that's mentoring them, someone that they're to have been successful, they got the right mindset, so they will have someone that's speaking into them, challenging them mindsets, making them think differently, look for, like there's so many things a good coach does. And it starts with asking good questions and then directing you in the right way. And that's the role of our coaches, is to really sit down with you. Yeah,
it is. Well, so there you go. If you're thinking about starting with us, or indeed if you are starting with us, and if Justin has sent you the link to this video and said, watch this, this is the blueprint to success in our network, there you go. Those are the three. If we could only give you three pieces of advice for a fast start and a successful business in our network, it's those three things. Set your business owner mindset. Make sure you are following the system. Get rid of any distractions. Follow the system for fast growth in our network, and engage with your business coach. They are your lifeline. They're the person that is going to help you make this work.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's been interesting, and I hope that you'll join us for another episode of The Real Franchise very soon.